People learnt tonight you don't bet against the ruler of NXT, as Femi would retain the NXT Championship. Absolutely undeniable, the main event delivered. All three men, Femi, Trick Williams, Javon Evans, brilliant. Even the referee was good. He even at one point kicked Femi to go and count the pinfall. I hope Femi remembers that on Tuesday. Referee, you might die, dude. But yeah, as I said, this was definitely up there for potential match of the night for sure. Really solid, really good all the way throughout. Very good storytelling. But it was the case that Femi retains the title. What's next for Oba? I've got absolutely no idea. Kind of did expect Darkstate in this main event. They sort of hovered around this main event scene for a while before the whole thing with the family kicked off. So maybe something coming out of this with Darkstate, maybe. But this is things you might have missed from WWE NXT Stand and Deliver. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Some huge breaking news that came out during Stand and Deliver. WWE's NXT's PLE Worlds Collide will return this June, taking place in the Kia Forum on June 7th. But the even bigger news, it will be a collaboration with AAA. That is going to be interesting. I think we all expected a Worlds Collide PLE this year, but I think we was all expecting it to be TNA. That doesn't seem to be the case. Maybe TNA is still involved somehow, we'll see. The first match tonight would see Ricky Saints retain the North American Championship, defeating Ethan Page in what was actually a really good opening match that would hear the crowd once again chanting, "Tony fumbled," and "Thank you, Tony." That's going to set the stage for Wrestlemania weekend. The action didn't begin there though, because on the kickoff show, Tatum Paxley and Gigi Dolan would win the Fatal 4-Way Women's Tag Match, and they are now #1 contenders for the Women's Tag Team Gold. They will get their title match Tuesday on NXT for whoever wins Sunday. They're going to put Liv and Tatum on the opposite side of the ring, aren't they? How am I supposed to deal with that? Story of this match though, Roxanne Perez would walk out on Cora Jade. Kind of don't understand this, because the whole story going into this was Roxanne wanted to be at Stand and Deliver. She got her opportunity and just walked away. I thought Roxanne and Cora were actually going to win this, but obviously not. And I wonder where this is going to lead now. What, Roxanne versus Cora? Are we not going to call up Roxanne immediately? There was celebrations though, as the Belly Boys, Hank and Tank, won the NXT Tag Team Championships. I absolutely love this, and I love the match as well. The match was absolutely fantastic. Stole the show, maybe stole the weekend, we'll have to see. But even though they won the tag titles, it's a tradition on NXT videos now. Hank, WTF was you thinking? Hank would perform a suicide dive, and I think he took the first word literally as he went head first on the announce table. So much impact, like he literally landed like that on the announce table. That is insane. Credit where it's due though, because that's the kind of dive you'd see Javon Evans do. Someone the size of Hank doing it and making it work. Absolutely fantastic. The question now, will Fraxiom be getting called up to the main roster? The Raw Tag Division could certainly do with it, let's be fair. They didn't turn on each other tonight, so it's possible. I don't know what there is more for them to do in NXT at this point. So maybe after Stand and Deliver, after WrestleMania, maybe we have the draft coming up soon. Maybe we see it. Maybe Fraxiom get called up. Thea Hail seems to have another new theme song. Obviously, she returned on Tuesday's NXT, and she used the theme song that Eddie Edwards would use in TNA. So I'm assuming WWE may not have been aware of that, and therefore they may have changed it for that reason. But a new theme song tonight for Thea Hail, and it's still just as good. It still brings the energy. Very fun. This was the 6-women ladder match, though, for the vacant North American Women's Championship. And you know it had all the crazy spots you'd expect in a ladder match. Really fun show. Very surprised they didn't start the night with this, but nonetheless, it would come down to Zaria and Ruca, and I have to mention Ruca skinning the cat on top of the ladder. I don't think I've ever seen that, ever, in wrestling, but very cool for Ruca to pull that out tonight. A few soul snatchers later, and Ruca would win the North American Women's Championship. Her and Zaria would come to blows, but I don't think that was a team split. I wouldn't even be surprised if we get Ruca and Zaria in like a friendly match for the title now. Very fun, very well deserved, great ladder match. This was a great segment. Penn from Penn and Teller was on the show tonight. Makes sense with them being in Vegas, and he would convince Lexus King to put his Heritage Cup in a safe place. Pull the curtain down, and then you reveal Teller instead of the cup. Teller would yeet like a little puppy dog, and actually it was really funny to see. But we got to ask the question, does this mean the Heritage Cup is gone? Like, what if they didn't bring it back? I mean, I've seen a lot of people asking the question, and I don't mind the idea of them scrapping the Heritage Cup. Replace it with a championship belt. The underboss Stacks would turn on the Don, Tony D'Angelo, tonight. Yes, it's a turn we all saw coming, but the impact was brilliant. Darkstate would win their first PLE match tonight. And of course, the ramifications of this turn will be felt for weeks. How they did it was genius. Throughout the match, Stacks and Tony were having problems. They sort of seemingly made up. We wondered if this was the moment, but he gave the bar to the referee and instead would hit the low blow. Look at this though from the entrance. As the family were making their entrance, you can see Stacks looking at the screen. Only Tony is on the screen and you can see his face. He really wasn't too happy with that. And obviously this was something we've seen build on NXT now for a number of weeks. Stacks, you remember what happened to Two Dimes, my friend? Hope you like fishes. Now, it's worth noting that Stacks would leave the arena pretty quickly without getting changed, and he seemingly hasn't turned his back on the entire family. He would tell Luca Crucifino to have his phone with him, and he'll text him where he is and he'll see him Tuesday. So obviously promotion for NXT on Tuesday night, but it does seem like it's only Tony that Stacks has turned against. Is it possible that Stacks could convince the other members of the family to leave Tony too? It was great to see that Booker T was awake throughout Stand and Deliver tonight after last night's little nap that Booker had during the Hall of Fame. I'm not surprised he's awake though. How would you ever sleep next to the jacket that Vic Joseph is wearing? That thing is amazing. Yes, we discussed the match already, but I've got to mention this. The rabid animal, Dion Lennox. This was absolutely great. During the match with the family, Dion Lennox just snapped. This wasn't the young kid we've been seeing on NXT before. He was rabid. He wanted to cause pain, suffering to anyone. Even pushing down Saquon Sugar's, his own partner at one point. I love that energy from Dion. Maybe more of that, please. Stephanie Vaquer would win her Fatal 4-Way match and retain the NXT Women's title tonight. Really solid match. I didn't think Stephanie was actually going to win. I thought she might have been on a fast track for a call up to the main roster. But no, she is still women's champion. Stephanie retains. What's next though after she's just beat Giulia? She's beat Jaida Parker and Jordynne Grace. Who's the next challenger for Stephanie? I've got absolutely no idea. Brilliant show. Genuinely brilliant. We had a heel turn. We had title changes. We had great wrestling. For me, a very solid 9.5 out of 10. The only thing that made it a 10 is if there was a shock debut or something. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel. We'll be back later for Wrestlemania. See you then. Peace!